Aboru aboye. You know, one of my own self-styled proverbs is that no matter how much you polish brass, it will never become gold. No matter how much you polish aluminum, it will never become silver. Stated simply, quality cannot be added. Okay? My name is Obafemi Origuwa, and this is the School of Orisha Studies. Today I want to drop a lesson on initiation. And when I say initiation, I'm talking about true initiation, real initiation, not rituals, not ceremonies, not beads, not titles, not pots. I'm talking about true initiation, the real deal. Okay? What is an initiation? Initiation is transformation. Okay? So we got to start with some of the language before we go too far. The word initiation is a little bit of a misnomer. In Yoruba, it's not really initiation, right? If we just focus on Ifa, to be what we call Ifa initiation is Itefa or Itenifa. Okay, and Itefa means to be pressed in Ifa or to press Ifa. Okay, it's a process. It speaks to an ordeal, right, of being pressed, right, and it suggests a process of losing your ego consciousness and humbling yourself and being submitted to the process of Ifa. Okay, because to be pressed, in this instance, you got to be on the floor. You got to be on the ground. You got to lower yourself, and something is over you and pressing you into Ifa, right? Ifa is an ordeal. It's a transformation through an ordeal. Okay, so initiation is not quite consistent with the language of Ifa, right? That's the first thing. The second thing that we have to really discern if we're going to talk about Ifa initiation is what we're transforming in the first place. Okay, this is our basic assumption about what's being worked with, what's being pressed. Right? Who are you? What are you? Okay. Most people have not fully come around to who you are, who they are. You don't know who you are. You don't know what you are. Okay? You got a little bit of influence from maybe the government, your social security number, your passport, your national ID, that's what you are. Your gender, your ethnicity, your job title, your degree, your area code, where you live, the clothes that you wear. Okay, you have all those things. They matter. They are important, but really those are just identifiers. Those are just little flags that send out an image to say that, okay, I've gone through this and I've been over here, and I know some of that. But they don't speak to the real essence of who you are. When we break all that down, right? That's like, those are the polish, right? It's the polish. You can polish up brass, but it's not going to become gold. Your degree is polish. Your area code is polish. Okay? But what your real properties are, that's based on your prenatal choice. That's your true identity. So if you haven't gotten to that and you're trying to transform and you think that because you're shiny now you're gold, you see, that's why all these ceremonies are just empty. Okay? Not just, that the ceremonies are not done properly, but the outcomes of the ceremonies are not real because you're not clear about where you are from the beginning, and the ceremony by itself just isn't going to transform you. You can set the stage for transformation, but you have to choose it. You got to deliberately reach out and absorb the different energies that are emitted during different kinds of ceremonies. There has to be a certain level of purpose and agency in the process of being initiated and therefore being transformed. right? Otherwise, you're polished, shiny brass, calling yourself gold. It doesn't work. Okay? It just doesn't work. So before you can get to the place of claiming something because you have a pot or you have some beads and you have a title, before you can get to that, you've got to get super duper clear about who you are and what you are. Okay? Now, how you define who you are and what you are must also be consistent with the process that you're going to undergo. So if you're defining yourself by Hindu terms, you're defining what you are by Buddhist terms. You're defining what you are by Christian terms. You're defining what you are by biological terms. You're defining yourself by political terms. None of that is consistent with what Ifa says. And you're going to go into Ifa as a as a bundle of neurons and bacteria and I don't know, chemical makeup, right? And you're trying to take all that into Ifa, and then when you come out on the other side, they're not going to define you by your chemical breakdown. They're not going to define you by your political association. Ifa is going to define you according to the Odu Ifa. True or false? Okay, so you got to start with what is the raw material according to Ifa, and that's going to help frame up how you undergo that process and the decisions you make all along the way and what you're aiming for in that process. Okay? Okay? Because if you're coming into Ifa and you're hoping that Ifa is going to help you see through walls and jump tall buildings in a single bound, again, it's going to fail. And this is based on, this is how I was brought in. So I'm telling you what I'm saying based on how I was brought in. Okay? The first ritual I underwent, I never will forget. Baba Lade did the ritual for me, and we spent days preparing for it, and the ritual itself was like all day long, every day, day after day. It just went on and on for me. So the first time I gone through a ritual, I thought, man, this just goes forever. But I was happy. I loved every second of it. And then after it was all done, I called Baba Lade the next day. Baba, good morning. I was that guy. I was on Baba's steps, constantly. Baba! And he says, hello? I said, good morning, Baba. How you doing? He says, hey, I'm fine. Who is this? Who is this? This is me. It's Bafemi. He says, oh, Bafemi, I'm surprised to hear from you. Said, why, Baba? We just completed the ritual yesterday. He said, well, I thought that since you can't see through, walls and jump buildings in a single bound, you wouldn't want to have anything to do with me. I just laughed. I just laughed. I said, no, Baba. That's not what it's about. I'm about this. I'm content with what we've done, and I feel the difference. And so, what the lesson that he was giving to me in that process is that, manage your expectations. You got to know what you're looking for. If you think Ifa is going to make you some kind of a magic being, and you're going to be just bulletproof and doing superhero stuff, you've wasted your time. Right? Because you didn't start off as that. So you can't transform into that. That's where I'm trying to get you to understand about initiation. The rituals and the ceremonies will not make you just anything you want to be. You got to have a starting point, and your starting point must be reality. Okay? Are you brass? Are you copper? Are you silver? Are you gold? Are you platinum? What are you really? Okay? Now, Ifa says the raw material that all of us are working with is that we are Enya. What is Enya? Enya means the chosen one. The chosen one. Chosen by who? Chosen by Olodumare. To do what? To bring about the good condition. That's what Ifa says. You are Enya. And you are chosen by Olodumare to bring about the good condition. That's your purpose. That's your true identity. Okay? That's your starting point. Now, what is Enya? Enya is a fourfold being. Enya consists of Ara, the body, the physical experience, the five senses. Enya is Okan. Okan being the heart, not sentiment, the heart, but the sensing, intuitive, vibrational quality of you, the intuitive part of you that resonates with other people. That's okan. Okay, it could be the mind, not necessarily the logical or rational mind, but that part that resonates. It's like what resonates when people say, "Hey, what's on your mind? What resonates with you? What feels right? What's the vibration?" Okan is the owner of that set of capacities. Emmi, the spirit. This is the breath, and the breath being not just the physical process of breathing in and out, but the breath that Olodumare gave to you in the beginning. Okay, and then Olodumare is actually breathing you, right? The breath of life is coming in and out of you. That is given by Olodumare. And when you finish in this existence, that breath will return to Olodumare. Okay, and then there is Ori. Ori is the physical head, but it's the seat of destiny. And we say Ori a lot, but we don't really get into what Ori truly is. And if you really got into Ori, honestly, you'd be so much more impressed with yourself. There are at least 9 different facets of Ori. At least 9 different facets of Ori, each with its own purpose and function. Okay? So you as Enya are already a miraculous and powerful, highly functional being. Before you get to Orisha, before you get to Ifa, you are Enya. Okay? Now, once you understand that, once you fully integrate that, I just gave you a mega lesson, and it's something that actually all of that is in my book. This is like my first book, The Fundamentals of Orisha Lifestyle. Right? If you really absorb that information and you really start to practice the principles that are associated with those teachings, it's going to totally change your perspective on what you're calling initiation and why you're seeking initiation, right? Most people have no idea of these things when they go into the rituals and the ceremonies. So they just go in and come out, and there's no change. There's no transformation. There's no growth. There's no development, right? There's just disappointment, okay? And I want you to avoid that. Okay, if you haven't gone through the process, I want you to avoid that. Not that I don't want you to get initiated, but I want you to be ready to be initiated. I want you to prepare yourself. I want you to condition yourself and reorientate your perspective so that you are making the kinds of choices that will be consistent with what the rituals and the ceremonies are intended to do. Likewise, you may already be at the place that you're trying to get to. You may already have all of the capacities and all of the advantages and all of the power and the energy that you need to do what you need to do. You may not need to be initiated, right? You just haven't tapped into what is yours because you have not looked into who you are. You haven't explored who you are and what you chose in the prenatal state. Okay? People will tell you all kinds of things. They'll talk about destiny, and they'll talk about destiny, and talk about destiny. But no one will be able to define destiny. I guarantee it. I can say it with total impunity, with zero hesitation. I'm certain that one person out of 10,000 will be able to actually define destiny for you. Right? We're not talking about your job. We're not talking about what work you do. We're talking about who you are and what you really bring into the world. Your life's work. Okay? They're not going to be able to tell you that. They're not going to be able to tell you that. Right? You have to discover that. Okay? So initiation, rituals, ceremonies, beads, pots, and titles do not guarantee you some sort of a magical outcome instantaneously. Okay? But you can be prepared to experience transformation through initiatory rites if you have properly prepared yourself for that kind of an experience. If you have prepared yourself, because if you have not prepared yourself, in the worst case scenario, you're going to fall off of some kind of a spiritual cliff. But what's probably more likely is that you're just going to go in and you're going to come out and there will be no change in your consciousness, no change in your awareness, no change in your behavior, no change in your vibrational quality. Okay? So the School of Orisha Studies is intended to prepare you for initiation, to send you on that meaningful journey of self-discovery, to help you discover those daily habits and that daily discipline that will keep you in alignment with who you are, and to help you discover your sacred service so that you can point all those natural gifts and talents towards something bigger than yourself. Because you are Ennean, you are chosen by Olodumare to help bring about the good condition. And the only way you can do that is through sacred service. So I want you to look deeply into the School of Orisha Studies, and I want you to be honest with yourself and all the people around you about what you're doing and what you're not doing. Aboru aboye, aboshishe.